WWE talent are frustrated with a new policy. Plus, we have an injury update from AEW Full Gear, and Tony Khan comments on the WWE ID program. It's all in the Cultaholic Wrestling News right now. WWE business is big business at the moment. All them spondulics of money being made by WWE. And with that comes some changes to what was probably a lovely little perk that WWE talent had up until now.
Yes, their comped tickets are no more for talent. So this is according to Fightful Select. This is news that has not gone down well at all. Numerous WWE talent have expressed frustration that comps are no longer available in many cases. And instead, talent are getting a pre-sale link that their friends and family can utilize to get tickets for money before they go on sale. They're not sure if this applies to talent across the board, but a number of talent have indicated that it affects them. One WWE higher up that they spoke to claimed it was a product of WWE success and had confirmed that the company had even used less seat fillers than previous years because the company is a hot ticket. When asking for comps, talent send in a request, and if granted, talents are informed, and a notification was sent via email to whoever got tickets. One talent that Fightful spoke to, who took issue with the change, said there was no written info or update provided to talent on the change, and they were told by talent relations. One talent also said they had comp tickets approved months before, and the week of the show were asked to provide a credit card to pay for tickets. Oh, that's rough.
Happy Christmas. Here's a link to a pre-sale to buy tickets to come and watch me wrestle. It was a lovely perk that I think obviously because business is so good at the moment and they are making so much money on tickets that they're not going to do anymore. And it's the cross the board with most live events and stuff. I can only base it from when I do stuff in radio is that you are less likely to get press access to things if the thing is already sold out because they don't need press access, because the whole point of doing press access is to plug an event. If the event's already sold out, they don't really need you.
I get it, right? It's capitalism.
Yeah.
They're looking after the shareholders. But like, how much money were they losing by comping some of these tickets in shows? I can't imagine it was a huge amount of money that they were losing out on. And is it worth having disgruntled talent because of it? Like, it's a nice problem to have for WWE, isn't it? It's a really nice problem that so many people are coming. But I can't imagine it was a big loss for them. And like getting a pre-sale link to send on to friends and family, it's just awkward. It's just a bit of a dick move, but hey, that's capitalism, isn't it?
It's a funny one at the moment, and I think a few people have brought this up, and every time they mention it, it's a really gauche thing to say where they announce it. We have made a record ticket gate for our show. Congratulations. They did it for Clash at the Castle in the Hydro. Remember, record gate. Well done. It means that you've sold out a Hydro and just charged people through the arse for tickets.
It's more frustrating when they do
Congratulations.
When they do it for a show where they're running a smaller arena. And it's like, okay, so not only are there fewer people in this building, but that means to make that big gate, you've charged on average more per ticket, and you've broken a record. Well done. Everybody cheers. Yeah. Everyone's like, yes, we overpaid. We overpaid.
We got rinsed.
Sure, all right.
I love WWE. Fed happy. WrestleTix reporting when it comes to those all-important ticket sales that the Royal Rumble set to take place on Saturday, February the 1st at Indianapolis is already almost sold out, about 5,000 shy of the current setup, which likely means that they're going to alter the setup to add more people.
Makes sense, doesn't it? I mean, as far as pay-per-views go, that's the one that I've always wanted to do. I've done a WrestleMania, it's awesome, but like, if I got a chance to go to a Royal Rumble, be all over it.
I'd say it's my favourite show of the year, the Royal Rumble.
Of course it is.
It's the best one.
Yeah, and anybody who, like, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, it's just a smaller WrestleMania. Royal Rumble is just the unpredictability, the excitement of it all.
That's it. Yeah. But Survivor Series is this weekend, and we have 9 pitches for Survivor Series, plus predictions with Adam and Andrew. Live reactions coming up this weekend as well. YouTube.com/Cultaholic/live and all the other good stuff, including what happened at and all the other good things as well. And WTF moments for Survivor Series next week as well.
That's right, over on Patreon.
Patreon.com/Cultaholic. Cultaholic to join Ross for those. Meanwhile, we just had Full Gear this past weekend, and we had an update on a potential injury to Mina Shirakawa.
Yeah, so she did the spear to the horrible Mariah May.
Horrible.
It was a brilliant spot, went absolutely tumbling, and as a result, have a look at that.
Oh, it's a duck egg.
Goodness gracious me. So I don't know if I thought at the time, oh, that's a blood capsule. I thought that was the only thing that had sort of like maybe gone wrong because like she worked it into the thing, started all that and covering blood. Oh, that's brilliant.
What did she do again, sorry?
Just like that. And then you see this picture afterwards and she has taken a tumble there. That is nasty. But you know what? You put that in a video package and it gets people more hyped still. It's quite that visual. Hopefully she's all right. Obviously, hopefully she's all right and everything. She looks fine.
Yeah, she seems fine. She says she's ready to fight on Twitter. So I think things still on track for a Mariah May, Mina Shirakawa showdown as we continue to wait for Toni Storm to make that comeback. And I think this is going to be something that's going to absolutely build to Toni Storm making a triumphant return.
Yeah, you got the Australia show coming up in the not too distant future as well. I think it's a really hot scene right now. It's good.
It really, really is. Back to WWE we go. An update from the Wrestling Observer as it pertains to two of the producers that are currently missing in action from WWE.
Yeah, Michael Hayes returning from being gone to take care of personal issues. He came back on Friday's SmackDown in Salt Lake City, where they take two shows. And then Bruce Pritchard, who's been away for a little bit as well, he's not expected back until early 2025. You can't. It's difficult to tell like the difference, like how different the show is without them or anything like that. I always like. I'm not a massive fan of Pritchard because he's such an arse licker. He's like proper company guy and all that. While embellishing the truth, for want of a better word, that always wound me up. But he has produced some of the big stuff, like the really successful stuff. Him and Hayes have both produced various Bloodline bits, and like some of the best Bloodline bits as well. So
it's not a coincidence that they're some of the best Bloodline bits.
Yeah, they're very good at their jobs, I think.
Bruce Pritchard taking quite the leave of absence because he's also gone from something to wrestle with for the time being, been replaced by John Layfield on that show. So it's Conrad and John Layfield, and I've really enjoyed it.
You prefer it with Layfield?
I think I do.
Scrap Pritchard.
I think Bruce Pritchard, since he got rehired, I think he's been very tied to what he can and will talk about. And whereas John feels a little bit fresher, and I've enjoyed. I think John's had a bizarre old 2024. Just building what seems like some sort of indie A team and just turning up at random shows and clotheslining people.
I have no idea where it's going, and I've got to. I feel the same as, I think it was Pritchard that said it. I think he's just bored. He's got nothing better on, so he just comes along. Like, it's not about the money. He's absolutely loaded anyway. So I think he's just a bored man, just a bored, lonely man.
Just a bored, lonely man. I will say, on Something to Wrestle With, the first one they did, John Layfield told a story about going on holiday with Bruce Pritchard and their wives. And Bruce Pritchard went out into the ocean and said, I'm going to go for a swim. You guys go off for the day. And they went off for the day and played golf and came back. And Bruce Pritchard was still in the same spot in the ocean, just bright red.
Of course he was.
With the waiter bringing him drinks.
Amazing.
He'd stayed there for like 7 hours.
So wait, was Brother Love not makeup? Did he just?
It was just. I think it was
been out in Ibiza before.
I think it was just his sunburn mainly.
Right, okay.
I did enjoy it. Stephanie McMahon flavoured update as well. She was obviously spotted at UFC 309 with Paul Triple H Levesque. PW Insider Elite saying that Stephanie currently holds no position within WWE, but was at the offices in Stamford just the other day. She could have been dropping off Triple H's lunchbox.
Well,
that's left it at home.
That's it. It's weird seeing her pop up when she's not like a member of staff within WWE. I imagine she's got lots of other things that she's doing, but you're totally right. Her partner works there, so it's not unexpected that she'd be there, but no update on her status within the company. I
do wonder whether we will see a time where a McMahon turns up in wrestling in AEW before WWE. Again, outside of Paul Levesque, obviously.
If it's not happened with Shane yet, it's probably not going to, is it?
Oh,
I don't know. I want to see it because it's funny.
World's End seems like an interesting place to reveal Shane McMahon behind something or other in AEW.
Death Riders.
There you go.
He's pulling the strings. It's gotta be,
he is the ultimate Death Rider, is Shane McMahon, as we all know. Tony Khan, speaking of AEW, was speaking in the media scrum at Full Gear and talked about the WWE ID program. This is some initiative that recently been revealed that is offering some big indie names and some smaller indie names as well, a fast track to WWE. And he talked about how he feels about it and how it's going to affect the landscape of wrestling.
Yeah. Saying, I do think it's going to affect the independent scene in some ways. We've had a really great experience over here over the years bringing in younger wrestlers. We've seen so many great wrestlers work their way up from the independents. We signed big free agents and we've got a lot of homegrown day one people. It's a great mix. I expect we'll keep signing great talent off the independents. I do think it's a different mechanism. It's something to keep an eye on. It hasn't created major conflicts or anything yet, but I imagine it definitely will influence the independent wrestling scene. It's definitely something to keep my eye on. Basically repeating his comments from last week, and he's being quite diplomatic, I guess, in the way that he's talking about this. But I guess it would be a concern because the way that it works now is that if you're signed to an ID deal, WWE get first dibs on you. But Tony Khan also saying last week that there's contract matching. So if AEW offered an indie star an offer, made an offer of employment to them, then WWE would have to match that financially based on what he said so far. But it must be a little bit concerning because WWE are going to be signing a lot of people if reports are to be believed, rather.
Yeah, and it's certainly going to be one that will change the landscape of wrestling. And do you know what? If you're one of those people that find themselves in a position where you've been offered a WWE ID contract and AEW say, how about a bit of money over here? That is what we would call in our line a champagne problem.
Yeah.
That's all right, isn't it?
Because you know that if WWE go, no, we want to sign you, they're going to at least match the offer.
Yeah, there is that. There's some good to come from that, but obviously it's certainly something that will change the landscape without a doubt. On the podcast feed right now, brand new episode of the Cultaholic Classic Raw review. We're watching every episode of Monday Night Raw from the very beginning. I'm myself and Cultaholic.com's Jack Atkins. This week, Ahmed Johnson joins the Nation of Domination. That's where we're at. For all of 9 minutes.
I just covered that in a list a few weeks ago. It was 10 stablemates that hated each other because Ron Simmons was not a fan of old Hungry Bum Ahmed.
No, he certainly wasn't. If you're hungry for more Cultaholic content like Ahmed's bum was, you can listen on the podcast feed right now. And as a Patreon, you can watch the video version at patreon.com/Cultaholic. And for the very latest wrestling news at any time, you can check out cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.